I'm Adrian Peterson of the Minnesota Vikings, and you're watching the best sports coverage on News OK.
Is it surprising when a young guy steps up and does that?
It kind of is, because he hasn't, when Sam was healthy, he was the boss, and yeah, and Landry's sitting there quiet and paying attention. But I mean to tell you, as soon as Sam was down in BYU, he was on it, and you know what? It was maybe a little surprising how natural it was for him. He didn't blink a bit, and players sensed that, and they were right with him right off the bat, and so. That's encouraging.
Bob, Brian Jackson's obviously had back-to-back 2 great games. Take a look at his whole season. Is he a guy that people ought to be thinking about for the Thorpe Award?
Oh, absolutely. He had up until last week 4 straight games with an interception, and we've played a fair schedule to this point too. So. And then being matched up with the 2 receivers the last 2 weeks, being right on top of them, he's been incredible. He's really held them down into check. Neither of them had a big play. Caught very few balls, and not that he was on them every single play, but he was on them the majority of the game. And we knew if we were going to have a good defensive day, he had to really show up and play great, and he did.
Can you talk about Ryan Broyles and how he's matured, and also hasn't his competitiveness really come out this year?
Sure. Ryan has really come on to be he's really doing a great job in every part of his life. I look at class attendance and things like that. He's really become a stronger student athlete in what we're asking him to do in his workouts. And then on the field, he's always been very competitive, but now with a little more maturity and age, he's probably even stepped that up because just naturally more confidence and more experience on the field. He has that knack of making big plays because of his talent. He's fast, he's elusive, he's got great hands. The catch he made on our boundary the other day was, just incredible. But that's the kind of hands he has, and so he's a big play guy.
Is that competitive help part of the reason he came back early from that injury?
Sure. He wants to stay on the field, and fortunately he was just comfortable enough to do so. It was a little bit sore, but he felt not enough to keep him off. And
some players.
That's possible that some guys might not have done that. That's probably fair to say, but he is a competitive guy.
How much does him going through that help develop leadership in your wide receiver? Because I know that was a question mark coming into this season.
He's an example of how to compete, how to play. Plays hard, and so he's a good example that way for sure.
What's the confidence level that you have in your running game right now?
It's a little bit inconsistent. We'll keep after it. There's a good part of the day the other night, though, where it was effective in the second half, and in some parts of the first half it was. It's something that we have to continue to work and do. It's obviously changed some with our tight end and fullback situations, so that makes it a little bit different too and difficult. But we'll continue to work it, continue to work some of those tight ends and fullbacks in there to try and keep more of it.
What's DeMarco's status?
I practiced yesterday, and again, I won't know till I anticipate him practicing through the week, and it just gets down to later in the week. If he's back to full speed, he's closer.
Bob, when the run game started to develop there late, was it circumstance or was it better execution?
I think it's better execution overall, and most of it, I think, is just better execution, and that's how I see it.
Is Adrian Taylor peaking right now, or are people just taking notice of him right now?
I think he's played at a higher level really all this year. He's really been solid. He's played well all year. So maybe people are just noticing it, but I think he is playing at a better level than even last year.
How much do you think Gerald's responsible for that?
It's hard to give Gerald gets a lot of credit for a lot of things. He doesn't need to take credit for Adrian playing better. So, fair enough. Gerald's he's a pretty special guy, but Adrian's holding his own and doing well.
Coach Snyder's always been noted as an innovator on offense, or a guy that's really creative. I know he's been out for a couple of years, but do you see that already in what he's done throughout the year?
Absolutely. They really make you work to understand formations and where they're trying to leverage you, out-gap you, get an extra man somewhere to create, opportunity to run the football. So, and then if you get too aggressive on it, he always is going to go, run verticals on you and try and get behind you. So it's, it's always, you have to be very disciplined to defend it.
Coach, the Missouri coach in the paper this morning was saying that the defenses are catching up with spread offenses. What comment would you have on that?
Well, I would say some are, and that's fair to say. Some are, probably some aren't. It's just I would say that for the most part, I don't recall us being very uncomfortable with it. We've defended it fairly well through the years, not just all of a sudden. So. Maybe that's the case overall, but sometimes too it's there could be some personnel issues too that lend a defense to be a little bit better against it than what the offense is trying to do. And as I said, I'm sure that's the case for some people and maybe not for everybody.
Bob, could you talk a little bit about what DeMarcus Granger's kind of gone through this year? And I know Brent told us that there's a possibility of maybe applying for a hardship or getting.
Well, he has applied, but they have come back and have denied it that it's not going to work, it's not going to happen. So, in the end, it's very unfortunate for DeMarcus. He has fought through that back, and it's just it's just part of a nerve that hasn't quite fully come back yet. They believe it will. It just hasn't in time, and to where he's just not able to fire the one leg as strong and as quick as he needs to. So it's been frustrating. He's been a great teammate. He's been out there working up until last week, trying to help, but just not able to quite do it.
Have they said anything on Ryan Reynolds for 6 years?
No. We haven't submitted that yet, and we'll have to confirm more whether that happens or not.
What was the reasoning behind denying DeMarcus?
I can't say. You'd have to have our compliance people give you the details of it.
Bob, how much work is Drew Allen getting right now? Like how many snaps? How's he doing out there? That kind of stuff.
He gets the usual snaps that a number 2 guy would get. I haven't counted them up, but we feel comfortable with it, so whenever 2s are in there, he gets them. So he's doing a nice job. He's coming along, getting better, and, making good improvement. So, but, yeah, we're happy with what he's doing.
Is it fair to say you're an Oklahoma State fan this week?
Oh, fair to say, sure. Bad fan, but if I got to be one.
The adjustment, Bob, of the 4 wides or going with the 2 slot guys and things offensively, could you talk about how that opens up and what a secondary faces when they see that many wide receivers out there? And sometimes you went empty with Chris Brown as well out there.
Well, you're just making people operate in more space is basically what you're doing, and sometimes you feel like it's to your advantage, sometimes you don't, and so overall it's just trying to get more speed on the field and space people out more.
Sometimes you say it's an advantage for the offense, you feel?
Well, sometimes it is, sometimes it cannot be, depending on who you're going against or what they're doing, but that's the game we play. You're just trying to find advantages if you have them, or at least operate in a way that you feel you can be more effective.
Do you think there being some closure with Sam going to help Landry and this team sort of move forward with Landry?
I don't think it has anything to – I don't think Sam by any means has held us back from just all the talk. I think you guys overestimate what kids pay attention to. These guys are up in the morning, get a workout, go to class all day, have meeting and have practice. By the time they have to hustle to dinner, go to study hall, they're not sitting around watching. reading a newspaper or watching ESPN or whatever news channel there is. They're busy, so they don't see all of that. And they understand Sam's situation. They're with them every day in practice. When you're the one practicing, the next guy steps in and here you go. And it's not cold, it's just how it has to be. So there isn't anybody been slowed by this. I mean, as far as because of, the uncertainty of what his path was going to be.